romantic night turned possibly the worst date ever. A video showing two people sharing a private moment, embracing at a Coldplay concert, now taking over.
All right, come on, you're okay? Oh, what? Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
Astronomer CEO Andy Byron has resigned.
His wife has now deactivated her account. The wife later dropped her married name.
The company Astronomer says that Andy Byron has now stepped down. Everybody's talking about the story.
CEO caught on kiss cam at a Coldplay concert, snuggling with his head of human resources.
Social media.
Oh, look at these two.
Parodies and memes are flooding.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
All right, come on, you're okay? Oh, look at these two. All right, come on, you're okay? Oh, what?
It was supposed to be a carefree night of music and celebration, a Coldplay concert packed with fans singing along to their favorite songs. But what happened when the Kiss cam zoomed in on billionaire tech CEO Andy Byron, sitting suspiciously close to his own head of HR, turned the evening from romantic to catastrophic. Within minutes, the footage exploded online, spiraling into an international scandal filled with lawsuits, secret affairs, and corporate betrayal. Andy Byron, the man who built his empire on trust and transparency, was now facing total ruin. But was he simply a victim of bad luck, or had he been hiding something far darker all along? Buckle up, because this viral kiss is just the tip of an iceberg filled with shocking twists and explosive revelations. It all
My thought process is that we're never going to look at kiss cams the same, right? Like, that's my thought process. And one thought, I was like, you know what? They should have had and just kissed and no one would have made a big deal of it. But I think their fear of being caught made them run.
His wife has now deactivated her account. The wife later dropped her married name.
It all began at Fenway Park, Boston, during a sold-out Coldplay concert. Thousands of fans were lost in music, lights flashing, lyrics echoing across the stadium. Then, the Kiss cam appeared, moving playfully through the crowd, capturing couples sharing romantic moments. But this wasn't just any random couple the camera landed on. It zoomed directly onto billionaire CEO Andy Byron, sitting a little too comfortably next to Kristen Kit, the head of HR at his own company, Astronomer. At first glance, it seemed harmless enough, two adults caught in an affectionate embrace. But things quickly turned uncomfortable when Coldplay's lead singer Chris Martin joked into the microphone. Either they're having an affair, or they're just very shy. Instantly, the crowd erupted, phones came out, and a private moment became the center of a very public spectacle. The viral clip was online within minutes, shared across TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter, capturing a seemingly intimate exchange between two powerful figures who definitely shouldn't have been together. And just like that, a single kiss at a Coldplay concert set off a chain reaction that nobody saw coming. Within minutes of the clip surfacing online, social media exploded into chaos. Hashtags like Coldplay affair and HR scandal trended on every major platform. Users shared memes, savage captions, and relentless commentary, gleefully pointing out the bitter irony of a CEO, known for publicly preaching ethics and integrity, caught apparently violating his own rules. TikTok creators made dramatic reenactments. Instagram gossip pages treated the scandal like prime entertainment. And Reddit detectives dug up photos from past events showing Andy and Kristen suspiciously close long before that fateful night. But beyond the jokes and memes, things turned serious fast. People quickly connected the dots. The CEO, who publicly declared zero tolerance for inappropriate workplace relationships, was now accused of having one himself. Andy's carefully crafted reputation started to crumble before his eyes. His company's stock dipped sharply overnight. Investors panicked, and internal morale took a nosedive. Employees wondered aloud in anonymous forums if favoritism had been lurking beneath the surface all along. Andy Byron, the respected billionaire tech visionary, was suddenly reduced to a punchline on social media. And yet, the real trouble was only just beginning. Before the scandal, Andy Byron wasn't merely a successful tech CEO. He was the model executive everyone in Silicon Valley wanted to emulate. Andy regularly graced magazine covers, spoke at elite conferences, and tirelessly promoted a culture of ethics and transparency within his billion-dollar tech giant, Astronomer. Publicly, he was known as the charismatic leader who preached zero tolerance for inappropriate workplace relationships. Only weeks prior, Andy confidently told a top industry magazine, leaders should embody the highest standards of conduct at all times.
That CEO of Astronomer resigned. Let me tell you what that actually means. Behind closed doors, the board is saying we have to, as quickly as possible, get the company on track and get the confidence of people. We don't want to have a long argument about this. We want you to land on your feet. So therefore, I guarantee you he was given severance to leave the company, and probably a very sweet one at that. It doesn't make sense that we're giving severance to somebody who did something wrong. But on the other hand, what it does is it shuts down the ability for the other person to sue the company, because oftentimes people get angry once they sit and stew about it and say, hey, this actually wasn't fair and I should be able to do what I want, or whatever the argument is. And it allows things to move forward and allows things to stay secret. That's the other thing, and the reason that severance helps a company. Stick it in my other TikTok. He probably is going to remain on the board of directors, so he'll have some stake in the company.
But now, with a single viral video, Andy's impeccable reputation crumbled into dust. The internet immediately seized on the irony. The CEO, who publicly condemned misconduct, now caught in an intimate embrace with his own head of HR. The social media users delighted in reposting Andy's quotes alongside the damning kiss cam footage, turning him into a global punchline overnight. As ridicule mounted online, financial analysts swiftly noticed the tangible fallout. Astronomer's stock price took a sharp dive, wiping millions of dollars from its market value in mere hours. Investors flooded the company's inboxes, demanding answers and accountability. Internally, employees who once proudly followed Andy began openly mocking him in private forums, questioning promotions, pay raises, and ethical standards. Andy had spent years carefully constructing his image. Now he watched helplessly as it shattered beneath the weight of a single kiss. Instead of taking the expected path, a simple apology or quiet damage control, Andy Byron shocked everyone by aggressively firing back with a lawsuit aimed directly at Coldplay's frontman, Chris Martin. Andy accused Chris's playful, on-stage remark, either they're having an affair or they're just very shy, of causing him irreparable personal and professional harm. But rather than sympathy, Andy's lawsuit attracted mockery and disbelief. Legal experts openly ridiculed the action, labeling it ego-driven, frivolous, and utterly doomed. One prominent attorney even joked Andy Byron might have billions in his account, but apparently zero self-awareness. Media outlets dubbed him the fragile CEO, publishing scathing critiques, highlighting how out of touch he appeared for suing over a harmless joke. Social media exploded once again with a fresh wave of merciless ridicule. Memes depicted imaginary courtroom scenarios where Chris Martin humorously serenaded judges with "fix you." Andy's desperate attempt to regain control of the narrative only made matters dramatically worse, amplifying his humiliation globally. What began as a private embarrassment now became an international spectacle, and Andy had single-handedly ensured it wouldn't be forgotten anytime soon. As Andy's legal drama unfolded publicly, chaos erupted within Astronomer itself. Employees, long accustomed to an image-conscious culture of ethics, suddenly saw their leader as the very embodiment of hypocrisy. Internal Slack channels, once strictly professional, devolved into anonymous gossip hubs. Staff sarcastically joked about company ethics training, openly questioning how long Andy's alleged favoritism had affected their career growth. Meanwhile, Kristen Kit, Astronomer's previously well-respected HR chief, vanished overnight, wiping clean her LinkedIn and Instagram profiles. Her sudden disappearance triggered rampant speculation among employees. Had she resigned in shame, or was she quietly preparing her own response? Insiders began leaking sensitive internal communications, fueling the perception that Astronomer was now a company spiraling into disarray. Clients started canceling or delaying key deals, worried about associating their brand with Andy's increasingly toxic reputation. Behind closed doors, Astronomer's board hastily convened emergency meetings, frantically planning damage control strategies. Ethics investigations were launched, and internal memos urgently called for discretion from employees. Yet every new leak painted a darker, more chaotic picture of a company losing control from the top down. Employees openly demanded accountability, and investors privately whispered about the need for immediate leadership changes. The scandal had officially become a full-blown corporate crisis. Just when Andy believed the worst might have passed, a new, devastating bombshell dropped. Photos surfaced online showing Andy and Kristen arriving side by side at Fenway Park on the night of the infamous concert, wearing matching outfits, walking closely together in a way that unmistakably screamed intimacy. Any remaining plausible deniability instantly vanished. The public quickly concluded this was no accidental seating arrangement. It was clearly planned. Internet detectives now dug even deeper. Bloggers began combing through astronomers' publicly available records, scrutinizing expense reports, corporate retreats, and past travel logs. A detailed timeline emerged online, suggesting Kristen and Andy's relationship had extended far beyond that fateful concert night. Social media users rebranded the scandal as HRgate, sparking intense online debates about workplace favoritism, ethical breaches, and corporate misconduct. Journalists jumped on the emerging allegations, questioning if deeper systemic issues existed at Astronomer. Speculation exploded, linking promotions and bonuses at the company to possible personal favoritism. Each new revelation further intensified Andy's humiliation, and as the public outrage grew, the billionaire CEO found himself unable to effectively respond. His earlier missteps had shredded his credibility completely, leaving him powerless to stop the intensifying media storm. As Andy struggled to contain the damage, Kristen Kit quietly prepared a move that could change everything. Sources close to the company whispered that Kristen felt deeply betrayed by Andy's attempts to deflect blame internally. Anonymous insiders hinted Kristen was contemplating a tell-all, either an explosive media interview or even a high-profile book deal, ready to expose years of behind-the-scenes misconduct. Employees speculated Kristen held receipts, damaging text messages, compromising emails, and potentially embarrassing photos. Social media eagerly anticipated her next move, with users rallying behind the idea of Kristen as a whistleblower, taking down a powerful executive. Public sympathy began shifting rapidly toward her side of the narrative, framing her as a victim of corporate exploitation rather than a willing participant. As anticipation grew, Kristen's silence only heightened the suspense. Rumors leaked that Andy's lawyers desperately offered Kristen settlements, non-disclosure agreements, and quiet exits to prevent her from speaking publicly. However, sources hinted she felt wronged enough to refuse, intent on regaining control of her tarnished professional image. Kristen Kit was now the wild card in the scandal, holding the power to single-handedly topple Andy Byron's billion-dollar empire. But amid this corporate chaos, Andy had unwittingly handed victory to the very person he initially blamed for everything, Coldplay's Chris Martin. While Andy Byron spiraled deeper into a crisis of his own making, Coldplay's frontman Chris Martin remained entirely unfazed, quietly watching from the sidelines, untouched by the chaos. Chris never publicly responded to Andy's lawsuit, choosing instead to continue performing sold-out concerts worldwide, projecting an image of complete indifference. This silence only magnified his appeal, as fans admired Chris's composure, resilience, and effortless class amid the absurd drama. In a stunning twist of irony, Andy's misguided lawsuit transformed Chris Martin into an even bigger star. Social media praised him for ignoring the billionaire's tantrum and focusing purely on music. Coldplay's concerts became hotter tickets than ever, selling out instantly with fans eager to show support. Audience members even began attending shows holding signs that mocked Andy directly, declaring themselves just shy, or proudly displaying slogans like "Kiss Cam approved." Chris Martin had unintentionally become the biggest beneficiary of the entire scandal, his popularity soaring without him ever needing to publicly acknowledge Andy's accusations. Memes of Chris calmly smiling while Andy fumed in frustration circulated widely, making the musician a beloved figure of humor and subtle rebellion against corporate arrogance. Meanwhile, Andy's attempt at revenge spectacularly backfired, turning him into an international joke, a bitter contrast to Chris's newfound hero status. Andy now faced an agonizing dilemma: double down on his disastrous legal crusade or retreat from the spotlight completely, accepting total humiliation. The public was fascinated, watching to see if the CEO would finally admit defeat or stubbornly push further into ruin. Crushed beneath the relentless humiliation and advised by panicked legal teams, Andy Byron eventually retreated from public view entirely. He canceled planned media appearances, declined all interviews, and stopped communicating publicly. Silence became his only refuge. But unfortunately for Andy, this silence spoke louder than words ever could. The lack of explanation fueled even more speculation and rumor, creating a toxic environment of distrust around Astronomer and its leader. As Andy vanished from sight, whispers grew louder within the industry, fueling suspicion about deeper issues within the company. Anonymous sources began leaking allegations of additional scandals, suggesting favoritism, inappropriate workplace relationships, misuse of company funds, and years of hidden misconduct. Each new rumor painted Andy as a morally bankrupt hypocrite, further damaging the company's credibility with investors and clients. Astronomers' board members found themselves scrambling desperately to control the damage. Emergency meetings were called, internal investigations expanded, and crisis management teams hired. Yet nothing could reverse the public's perception that Astronomer was rotten at its core, driven by a CEO who never truly believed in the ethics he publicly championed. Employees grew restless, clients reconsidered partnerships, and investors openly questioned whether the company could survive with Andy still attached. Andy Byron's once unshakable empire now teetered dangerously on the brink of collapse, a victim of his own arrogance and stubborn refusal to accept responsibility. And as Andy's world unraveled, everyone waited anxiously to see if Kristen Kit would finally break her silence. In the end, one single kiss caught innocently enough by a concert, Kiss Cam had spiraled into one of the most dramatic corporate scandals of the decade. Andy Byron, the billionaire CEO who spent years preaching ethics, integrity, and transparency, was now synonymous with hypocrisy, scandal, and disgrace. He had lost more than just his reputation. He risked losing the company he had spent a lifetime building. Kristen Kit, at the scandal's center, remained quietly out of view, potentially preparing her final act of revenge. Chris Martin, the inadvertent instigator of the whole saga, had emerged stronger than ever, enjoying a surge of fame without ever addressing the chaos he sparked. Andy, meanwhile, was reduced to a cautionary tale, a powerful executive brought down by his own ego, pride, and poor judgment. But the story ultimately leaves viewers with a provocative and lingering question. Was Andy Byron merely the unlucky victim of a viral moment, or had he been the architect of his own downfall all along, hiding hypocrisy beneath layers of carefully maintained image? One thing was clear: Andy had wanted an unforgettable Coldplay concert experience. In the cruelest twist of fate, he got exactly that and much more. Perhaps the next billionaire CEO tempted to mix business, pleasure, and the glare of public spectacle will think twice before embracing someone on the kiss cam.